a bit of confidence with a little common sense. Let your soul glow bright, my friend. No regrets when the story ends. Respect will take you far. Turn on your je ne sais quoi. Honesty, show who you are. The lights are on, shine like a star. This is amazing, yeah. So amazing, yeah. Amazing. Living this amazing moment. This is amazing, yeah. So amazing, yeah. Amazing. Living this amazing moment. Can't fight the feeling. You know it when you feel it. You're one in a million. Living this amazing moment. This is amazing, yeah. So amazing, yeah. Amazing. Living this amazing moment. Living this amazing moment.
All right, good morning, everyone. We are live here at the Ron Clark Academy for the annual RCA Amazing Shake 2026. My name is Kirk Brown, Chief Development and Communications Officer here at RCA.
And I'm Kim Beard, the co-founder and executive director, and this is the day we've all been waiting for.
It is.
This is our Super Bowl of workforce readiness, and our students are prepped, ready, and excited to be here.
Yes, I mean, the students have been waiting all year for this moment. It is a day that they can really put their skills to the test on how well they are confident, how well they speak up, their knowledge of different things that we've talked about in school-wide meetings throughout the year. And so it's just it's a great morning to be here for the annual Amazing Shake. It is my favorite day of the year, Kim. I just love this day, watching how the students go around and interact with the judges. I am super stoked for the students this morning.
You know what, and as we talk to our alumni time and time again, the big question is, can we have an alumni version of this?
Yes,
because
that is the question.
they realize how well they were prepared as middle school students for these type of skills, but now that they really are out in the real world, they're like, oh, I just need a refresher, or, oh, if we could compete and do this again,
Yes.
it would help me even more. So for those of you who are joining us for the first time, you're like, what is the Amazing Shake? This is a day that our students are really trained for all year long, because it's how do you engage with others? How do you give a firm handshake? How do you look someone in the eye? How do you speak with confidence? And this year, I think more than any of the Amazing Shakes we've ever had, the questions that require higher level critical thinking skills, these are some tough questions.
They are really, really tough questions. And every year we sort of have a theme around the gauntlet, around the Amazing Shake. And this year's theme is around Monopoly. We did a Monopoly Day earlier this year to really give our students knowledge around skills around financial literacy, investing, and real estate, and things of that sort. And so we took that and extended it into the Amazing Shake this year. And the questions are expert level type questions.
Absolutely. So we are really in the midst of a full Monopoly board. We have every single station from the Monopoly game. We actually have a railroad. There is a real train that is going around the outside of the game board where the students are interviewed. It is the cutest thing I've ever seen.
Yes,
There, you can see it right there. We have Tristan and Aiden.
Yes.
That is a different, unique situation because there are two students who are in there at the same time, and it's a 2-minute station. Most of our stations are one. And so are they giving one another the opportunity to be able to speak? Right, and be engaging.
And be engaging while also engaging with the judge, standing out in such a way that you still get full points, but not dominating. It's a delicate balance there, how you would navigate that situation.
Yeah, how do you make an impression without being a little bit overbearing?
Yeah.
So our students here, you will hear every minute in the background, perhaps, the sound of cha-ching.
Money, money, money.
It is normally a bell, but we changed it up a little bit with a little Monopoly thing to have that little money sound.
Yes, and as you see, that's the scorecard right in front of you. It is a Monopoly theme this year, and they're going from station to station as if they were playing Monopoly on the Monopoly board. They are gonna have to pass go. They go to jail. They get free parking. There's community chest and chance cards. You name it. It's all happening today for this year's Amazing Shake competition.
And a lot of the questions involve the history or things about the place. For example, Baltic Avenue, it talks about, or the Mediterranean Avenue. It asks where would I like to visit in the Mediterranean? So they have to know a little bit about geography. You know, can you recommend a place and where I would like to go there and what I would enjoy about it? But then there's some other things. Electric company, if you were told you have a certain amount of money and you must invest in either water or electricity, what would you be investing in and why? What would be the wise investment? Why would you do so? But then there's things like chance, community chess. Those are those game cards when you play Monopoly, if you remember, they kind of give you random things, and they may ask you questions like, why is it important to help someone when you receive nothing in turn?
Yes.
So there's some character questions in there as well.
Questions in there. Questions that we've pulled in about current events, about financial awareness, things that we've talked about in school-wide meetings. And typically with the Amazing Shake, what we like to do is have a combination of things that they know about, things that we prepare them for. So the students have to come in with some knowledge so that they can then display that. But then a lot of it is really just how well do they think on their feet. How well do they process the question and then answer that with the knowledge that they have from their life experiences, from school experiences, things that we talked about as a school as well. So there's a combination of that that's happening here in the Gauntlet as well. Let's talk about the piece that they had to bring this morning.
I love it. Well, our art teacher, CJ Wallace, who is quite brilliant,
yes.
She had an activity where they were given materials where they had to create a game board piece of their choosing, but they had to explain the symbolism behind it, why they made it, what it represents, and how it represents them as an individual.
Yes.
And so they have it in a little Ziploc bag, and so that's the very first station, is that they bring up their game piece, they present it, and they explain why they created the piece they did and why. Now, I don't know about you, but those game pieces are, did you play a lot of Monopoly as a child?
I played enough, yeah.
You played enough. See, I
always wanted the car.
I wanted the car. I wanted the car. Everybody always wants the car in Monopoly because you would act like you were driving around the board. So I can't wait to see these pieces.
To see the pieces,
what they
I know they put a lot of time and effort into it, and such a brilliant idea for Ms. Wallace to incorporate that into the competition this year.
Yes.
Again, it shows their creativity, their depth of understanding. The pieces of them that they want to bring in and sort of share that with the judge, I think is important as well. And just, again, pulling all those pieces that they've learned here at RCA together and showing that. And I feel like, you can't really go wrong with the station there because you're basically giving your elevator pitch and also showing your creativity. And so if you do that in a way that you are confident and you can articulate that, then you should get high marks on that station.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that is an important thing to know, is that, as Kirk mentioned, the stations here, there is a balance. We do have about 10 stations this year where the students did know ahead of time a little bit about what's going to be expected, so that those students who may not be as quick on their feet, but those are hard workers, those students who will do whatever they have to do to get it done, who will put in the research, who will take time studying, so that they also are rewarded for that, because that's important job force readiness as well.
Yeah.
But then the others, it's anyone's game. They're not sure until they walk up. What is it I have to do right here, and what is it I have to be able to talk about? And some of those are really tough. However, those things that do involve history or geography or current events, they are things that we have discussed in school-wide meetings. The students should have been paying attention, should have been made aware of those in their classes, and so that those academics really run through everything we're doing as we're continuing the Shake as well.
Talking about it. So let's talk about why the Amazing Shake. Here at RCA, we are very intentional about, making sure that our kids are academically strong, and they are brilliant. Our academics here, we like to say that we're the Harvard of middle schools, because we have high expectations for our students. They're doing grade levels above their current, what their current class would require. And so that's one thing to be intelligent, but it's another thing that we think is important, is to how do you convey a thought? How do you connect with people? Because we know that that's how the world works. How do you build a relationship, build rapport? And so the Amazing Shake is really instrumental in building those skills in our students. We find it important that our students are ready for the workforce and can walk into a room, be confident, and talk about themselves and talk about what they feel about what's happening in the world and what they feel about what's happening in their community. We want them to understand and see an issue in the community and have the confidence to speak up because they have the solution to fix it. And so that's why the Amazing Shake is so important.
Absolutely, and I think even maybe more so than ever, because I do think in this day and age, and those of you who work with our youth know that we're competing against technology.
Yeah.
And technology can be a wonderful tool, but on the other hand, sometimes it makes people less able to make eye contact, to be able to convey their thoughts if it's not behind a keyboard.
Yeah.
And we know that our students, whether they're leading a team or whether they're walking in to pitch an idea, if they have that confidence that they've learned very early, it's going to set them apart.
Absolutely.
And so we really have seen the benefit of this time and time again with our students as they leave here and they go to other schools. They are often really establishing themselves as leaders in their school communities, whether they're starting organizations about causes that they care about, or whether they're in charge of the student government, or they're running their organizations, their clubs, they're standing out academically, they're the commencement speakers at graduation.
At graduation, yeah.
So we're really, really proud of them. And many of them do say, oh, it all started with what I learned
here at the Amazing Shake.
And even in subtle things like this, I've had more than one student say, you know what I learned at RCA that didn't even realize until I got to my high school or my college classes, is that here our students just are really taught to engage in with their instructors. So it's very common when students leave class to look you in the eye and say, thank you so much for that lesson. I really appreciated that. Well, they walk into some of their high school and college classes and the teachers are blown away. Well, first of all teachers deserve that.
Yes.
But they're blown away because our students have the wherewithal to express that. And not just carry it inside, but to say it when they feel it.
Yeah.
It's important.
It's very important. And so this gauntlet and the Amazing Shake, we've simulated real world experiences or scenarios for the students, and then we put them through that. We invite judges in from the community. So this morning, we've got dozens of community leaders, judges, executives here to score our students as they go through to see how well they engage on the spot, how well they use those skills, how well they speak up, their confidence, so that students get that real world experience. And so it starts here with round one in the gauntlet. Later this morning, after all the students have gone through, we'll announce the top 30. Well, then they'll move on to round two at a company in the city for a Work the Room challenge. And this year's sponsor and host for round two is going to be Austin and Bird. Then they'll go to another company, which we'll talk about later, and then another company, and so forth.
Some of those things are surprises, so we cannot tell you yet what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But let's talk about all of our sponsors for today's event as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So just want to give a shout out to our sponsors who make the Amazing Shake possible, as you saw there on the screen. So today our sponsor, our top sponsor here for the Amazing Shake this year is going to be Truist. So shout out to Truist. Thank you so much for coming on board.
And we have put them at Boardwalk because y'all know that's the most coveted spot on the Monopoly board. Now, when I say that, don't think if somebody's over there at Baltic Avenue that they were not a valued volunteer.
Right, exactly.
But we did put Truist at Boardwalk.
Yes,
very grateful
thank
for
you,
them.
Truist. Delta Community Credit Union coming on board this year as a sponsor again. They have sponsored the Amazing Shake year and year after year, so we appreciate them with volunteers and sponsorship. Austin Bird, as I mentioned before, is another sponsor this year for the Amazing Shake. They have been a sponsor time and time again. We are so appreciative of Austin and Bird, and then also Sonny's Barbecue, where our last round is going to be this year for the Amazing Shake. So just another round of applause. Make some noise in the comments for those of you who are watching to shout out our sponsors this year. They make the Amazing Shake possible, and we are so, so grateful for their support.
They're so wonderful. And so let me give you a little bit more detail about what's happening in here right now.
Yep.
So the students are all lining up. They are going in grade level order. So first of all, 8th grade each year, they have the opportunity to have a strategy of when they go in the lineup. It doesn't always go 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. So the 8th grade, they thought strategically, let's make the 5th grade go first, then the 4th grade. Now, those 4th and 5th graders are so cute, though.
They are.
But then we're going to go right in the middle, 8th grade, and maybe it's because they know perhaps their ability to answer some of those questions that are really, really tough. So they probably had to measure, okay, the content of my conversation versus how cute some of those youngins are, but feeling very confident. And then it will be 7th grade and then the 6th grade. As the students enter, they go from station to station. They are there for 1 minute. There are only a couple of stations where it's a 2-minute challenge. When they sit down, they must give a handshake. They must look the person in the eye. They must speak with confidence, introduce themselves, and then they are given the question. And then they have, how do they fill up that time? And the judges are prepped. They get a whole 2-page summary document of examples of an exemplary answer versus a poor answer. It's not if they agree with the answer the student gave, but rather the way that child is able to convey the thought, to argue their point, if it's necessary to make an argument or persuade, how they speak with that confidence, how they engage. Do they fill that whole minute, or are they looking at like,
because all the kids will just give their answer and just sit there.
Do they ramble? Do they repeat? Do they look the person in the eye? Is it a conversation, which I think a lot of times they're looking for that, not just me talking the whole time, but a back and forth.
How do you engage the judge?
So those are the kinds of things. The judge immediately has to give their impression on a scale of 1 to 20.
Or 0 to 20.
Yeah, 0 to 20. Oh,
Yeah.
0 to 20.
Yeah.
Yes, excuse me. 0 to 20. Now, here's the thing. These are all volunteer judges.
Yeah.
We have no RCA staff judging these students. These are all people from the community of Atlanta who are here, some of our corporate sponsors, donors, some of our community partners, just friends of the Academy. They are all here volunteering their time this morning. And so you know that if you were here, you'd probably just want to say, oh, just give them all 20s. But we're like, you cannot.
You cannot do that.
That is not what helps our students, and it doesn't help those students who've really deserved to move above, really be set apart.
Yeah.
So we really ask them to give a full range of the numbers. And then all of these scores, we have a whole tabulation room in there where they're making it official and tabulating it all before we announce the top 30. I should also mention that today we only have 6 of our 4th graders who are here.
Who are here, absolutely. We give the 4th graders an opportunity not to compete in the whole class, not to compete in the competition, but we did a practice round, sort of like a qualifier, if you will, to give the 4th graders a chance to get into this competition because they really participate fully as a 5th grade. And so 4th graders, they went through a practice qualifier on Friday. And 6 of those students were selected who got the top scores to compete this morning. So they're super excited. I'm really, really proud of those students as well.
And you know what I love is the way the 4th grade class has all rallied around. They're so proud of those kids, and you know, they're going to be rooting for them. So I know a lot of you are watching are our beloved parents or friends, relatives of the students who are competing today. Right now, just so you know, the 5th graders are in the room, but give shout outs to those students that you're supporting, or if you're a visiting educator who's been here before and you remember some of those students that you got to eat lunch with or spend time with, let them know that you're thinking about them and cheering for them today because it's a big deal.
And for your houses too. If you want to see your house, if you are representing a house and you want to see your house make it into the top 30 and make it all the way to New York City, you got to shout your house out in the comments, show them some love, right? Because you want to see your house get up there as well and do well in the competition.
Absolutely. So the Amazing Shake was a program that was actually born our very, very first year in operation, and it has grown quite a bit since that time. But as we were thinking about ways we want to prepare our students for the workforce, we thought, what if we made it a fun thing for kids, but still taught those readiness skills? So our students had to go down the hallway, and we had different volunteers lined up all throughout the building, as well as staff members the very first time. And the students just had to go up to each person, sit down, and have a conversation.
It was just down the hallway. Just very, very
and they ended at the end of the second hallway, and that was basically
it. And we didn't have a gong on loop that point. I think we had like a bell.
We had somebody walking down the hall and just like ringing a bell.
Ringing the bell.
And some schools are still doing it that way. And you know what? That's great because the kids who were involved in that said, oh, they loved it. They learned so much. But then we thought we got to put some challenges in. So we had some things like they would sit down and engage with someone. They'd walk around the corner and there'd be someone standing there and say, what was the name of the person you just met?
Yep.
Or they all of a sudden go around the corner and someone drops a whole
bag of
pencils, right?
And then how do you navigate a scenario like that as a student? Are you going to go straight for the handshake first, or are you going to go, oh, I'm so sorry, let me help you with those pencils. And by the way, my name's Kirk Brown. I'm a 7th grader here, and you are. How do they navigate those specific scenarios?
We put somebody in a fake cast so that, because if you're telling kids it's a handshake competition, it's so much more. But you have to give that firm, good handshake. Somebody turns around and they get their hand in a cast. Does the child get so nervous they try to shake the cast?
Shake the hat, right?
Squeeze the hand. So there are things that we practice, and we teach these skills to educators when they come here to share with their students all over the globe, which is very, very exciting.
Yeah.
So we have a website, theamazingshake.com.
Yep.
And if you go there, there's a lot of important information. First of all, there are training videos on how do you give a firm handshake. There's little subtle things like, do you squeeze too hard? Do you do the pump the whole time? Do you look down when you approach the person versus looking up? This is the one a lot of kids will do. They'll do this thing with their finger where it looks like they're taking your pulse and it feels like their finger's right here, so it feels weird. Or the little squeeze. I know every one of you has had someone go to shake their hand and they give you that weird squeeze.
That weird squeeze, or it's like the
claw, or the limp
awkward,
hand.
Or the limp hand. That's the worst of them all. The limp hand is the worst.
Dead fish hand.
The dead fish, So all kinds of, we show them, what are the mechanics of a good handshake? the mechanics of being a good conversationalist, right? How do you listen and then follow up and go deeper on a point that you heard, or ask a question about a point that you heard, instead of sort of jumping around or just kind of shooting out random questions. So there's videos on our website, theamazingshake.com, that kind of go through what that looks like for the students, and then it's also a resource for the schools who also want to do their own Amazing Shake.
Which is another exciting thing, because we now have regional Amazing Shakes. We have actually, you see these incredible backdrops. So first of all, we need to give a shout out to, these are all created by our team here at the Ron Kark Academy. So Hutch McMillan and Cookie and Ethan, they are phenomenal for setting everything up, the layout, designing it. Our designers though, our graphic design team, we have Latasha Lewis. We have Cam Bradley, Edison Smith.
Yeah.
This is amazing, and they create every bit of this, everything down to the scorecard, which you saw a moment of before. Absolutely brilliant. So we have decided that other schools may not have a design team in-house like we have, and so we actually have kits. We have kits that schools are using in regions, and they can actually, we have several different years of Amazing Shakes that we have replicated. You actually get the kit, you get the polls, you get the, like, how to put it together, you get videos of it, the order it goes at, the
scorecards,
the buttons.
I mean, anything that you can think of to make your Amazing Shake look like this, we now have those for schools. We call it Shake in a Crate, but they're for the regional competitions. Schools can rent a crate, and we have all the different themes. So one year we did a trip to New York City, and then the next year we did a trip to ATL, and this year's a Monopoly. That's going to be a Shake in the Crate. We've done just the general theme as well. So we have all these different themes that we've done over the years that we've now sort of put in a crate that can be shipped to districts and shipped to regionals for those communities who want to host a competition.
And then what's so exciting is that these regional winners and some school winners, they all come here to Atlanta in March, because now here we host the Global Amazing Shake.
Yes, the Global Amazing Shake every single March. Is usually the last weekend of March, where all those winners, those regional winners, district winners, school winners, they come to Atlanta. Almost 400 students are here for those 3 days, competing in different challenges, building relationships with one another, their peers, and just having a fantastic time. It really is a life-changing moment for those kids.
It is.
Beyond the competition, I think the most beneficial thing, the thing that I love for those students, is that they really build some genuine bonds.
Some of our kids, like Dante and one of the students from another, one of our former students, like their families met up together in Florida when they were on vacation. I was like, that is so beautiful.
That is amazing, So they build these incredible bonds and relationships over that weekend, and they stay together, stay with one another as a resource, which I think that's a really beautiful thing.
They are already networking.
They're already networking, which is what the Amazing Shake
is all about.
So we love it.
Drop the mic.
Drop the mic.
So they are already networking, and it is absolutely incredible. And so when the students come here for the globals, all of that is in-house. We don't take them around the city of Atlanta. Logistically, that would kind of be a tough thing. But how many volunteers does it take to do the globals?
Oh my gosh, hundreds.
Hundreds of volunteers.
300 volunteers for the Global Amazing Shake. So imagine we have hundreds of students and their chaperones, and then we need hundreds of volunteers. It is a huge undertaking, but the impact is so beautiful. We love to do it every single year.
The city of Atlanta really does show up.
Yes.
They show up in full force to help us. We are very, very fortunate that they are so supportive of the Ron Kark Academy. So many different individuals and different organizations really do come in full force, and we're so grateful for that. So we are gearing up. Now, we can't tell you the theme yet, but we think it's epic.
It's going to be amazing.
It is going to be amazing.
And
it's already in the works, but it's going to be a surprise. And the top 10 students here from our Amazing Shake will get to advance to the Global Amazing Shake. But they'll be competing against students from all over. And some years we have a global winner, some years we don't. We had 2 years ago from Germany.
Germany won first place, and Canada won second.
Yes.
And so it really is stiff competition. Our students are brilliant, but these students from across the country and around the world, they come with their A game as well.
Yes.
But it really is a fantastic weekend. So if you are a school and you want to do the Amazing Shake like we are doing here, just go to theamazingshake.com. It's a website that you can sign up on and get all kinds of free resources. But if you'd like us to sort of send you kits, there's information on the website where you can sign up to host a regional competition as well. And we will send you the entire crate with the backdrops, with the scorecards, the buttons, you name it, so that you can host it in your region as well. But take a look at the floor there, all the energy, the excitement that's happening here this morning. It is the Monopoly board. So if you were just joining us this morning, for the Amazing Shake 2026, the theme this year is RCA Monopoly, and our kids are going around the board, station to station, with a question related to that space on the board. And so, super exciting this morning for what's happening here at the Amazing Shake. And
Yay!
here we have,
Come on in.
Come on over.
Here, you come. You want to
I'll
get
sit
in?
on your
you
lap.
sit on my lap. So
Here's the chair right
here
there.
we have the mastermind. You came in at the perfect time because you know why? Because I was about to tell about how Monopoly Day and your dream for Monopoly Day as the backup to how this was inspired today. Tell them about what we did on Monopoly Day.
Sure. So I think it's really important that as teachers and as schools that we provide financial literacy and a true understanding of how money works. So we had a day at RCA where we had local bankers come in. Oh, you want to swap me? I'll hold the mic up. Bottom. Help me out.
Hold it right there. There you go.
Well, now I know. See, I'm learning too. So I'm learning today. So basically, I wanted to have a financial literacy day. And so we had local banks come in, thanks to Truist and Delta Community Credit Union, Huntington Bank. They came in, they taught the kids, how does the bank work? What is the purpose of the bank? Interest rates, property tax, and then something really cool happened. We had real estate agents come in that taught kids about the state of the economy in terms of it's now a time to buy a house or to sell a house. Then we gave each kid an envelope. It had their credit score, it had how much they have for a down payment for a home, what their yearly income is, and the students went around our school. We had backdrops of different homes around Atlanta and a real estate agent at each house, and the students had to go up to the real estate agent and ask questions. Oh, what's the crime like in this area? How many bedrooms are in this home? Then they sat down with a mortgage broker who said, all right, let me see your credit score, let me see how much income you make, and they told them if they could purchase the home they wanted or not. So it was like a real world learning experience. It was amazing. Then we went into the gymnasium. We had Monopoly tables, and the students played Monopoly with bankers, and so it was great. And it wasn't that expensive of a day because banks have a responsibility to do financial literacy for schools. It is their responsibility. So they were more than willing to help, and I'm sure banks in your area will be willing to help as well. And basically, they just had to buy the Monopoly boards. That's all it took. It wasn't that expensive of a day, but it was an amazing day, and a day I think the kids will remember forever.
Can you imagine being a young student and having that experience? And some of the kids were so clever. For example, one student who just was fortunate enough to get a higher salary, good income score, he came up and he said, Ms. Beard, and he goes, I could afford that nicest house because I think I would really like to buy the three least expensive and set them up as investment properties to build for my future. And I was like, yes. And we had students come up and say, we're getting married. Could we join together our down payments? And we were just laughing. We said, well, now, are you getting married to buy the house, or are you already getting married? Playing
But in
along.
real life, sometimes people do kind of.
Right. We said, is that a good reason, though, to be with someone is just to buy a house together? I was just asking them these questions. But the fact that they're having these conversations, and you could tell some had even heard conversations, well, I'd like to buy that, but I don't want to be house poor. So I will, so they're figuring out these things. But to me, that idea of the credit score, the down payment, and then being able to figure out what is that really going to cost me every month to live there, and then figuring out over the course of 30 years, how much are you really paying for that house? Those interest rates matter.
Oh, wow. Yeah. The favorite part of the day for me was when students were devastated that they couldn't buy the house they wanted because they realized their credit score wasn't high enough, they didn't make enough income, and it said, the kids were like, I'm going to have to make sure I have a good credit score when I get older because I want to make sure I can get the home I want. So I thought it was a good lesson.
It's a beautiful lesson. So as you were helping create the questions for this board, what were some of your standout was? What are some of them you think? Because I feel like these are some of the hardest questions we've ever had when it comes to critical thinking skills.
Last year's Amazing Shake, I thought I made it too fluffy. It was too fun, which I wanted to be fun, but I wanted there to be academic content. I want these kids to really have to think and prepare. So I went to the other extreme this year. These are some challenging questions, and I wanted questions about money and financial literacy to tie in the whole Monopoly theme.
Right.
And if you did run a bank, if you were going to run this bank, what would your responsibility be to the community? If you were running Truist Bank, what direction would you take the bank? That's a really hard question.
Very hard
for
question.
a kid to have to ask. That's why I told the kids that one ahead of time. And it was great because this weekend the students kept texting me, Mr. Clark, I'm trying to pretend I'm the CEO of Truist. I'm researching. Would this be a good presentation? Is this a good idea? Is this a good direction for the bank? So the students were really taking it seriously, and I love that.
The students do have the opportunity to ask for coaching. Those students who do want to go above and beyond, who feel like they need extra prep time, They can get advice from any staff members, and we're happy to help them. And so you'll see those kids who really do every year, they take this very, very seriously.
But the funny thing is, the students who always ask for the one-on-one Amazing Shake tutoring and help, they're always the ones who do great at it anyway.
Right.
They're just really serious. They want to win. I wish the kids who struggled would ask for as much help as the kids who do well.
Right. So talk a little bit, I know you can't give all the secrets, but we already told about the first round after they leave here about how they have to work the room. Any other exciting little secrets or little hints about what happens after that?
Well, it's going to be a lot of fun. Basically, the key for this Amazing Shake is hard, tough, thought-provoking questions, because I wanted the kids to really have to think this time. So every round, I will say they're going to have to use their noggin. They're going to have to think. They can't just be sparkly. Sparkly would just get you so far. There must be some substance as well. But my favorite part of the day is when I get to announce the top 10 are going to New York City, but I'm doing it differently this year. Normally, you'll have like 14 kids left, and we will separate the 4 kids and say, oh, could y'all go over there just for a little while to a different room? And the 10 kids know, oh gosh, I think we're the final 10. Then we announce that they go crazy. This year I'm doing it differently. I'm going to take out the 2 that I'm going to say, they're going to think it's the bottom 2. We're going to take them in a room and tell those 2 that they're going. We're going to do it 2 at a time.
Oh, wow.
So the others will not know what's going on.
Especially those kids who've been before, who have actually been able to advance. I love, you
got to keep them on their toes, keep them thinking.
The element of surprise. And the element of surprise is a big part of it, too. We always say everything is a competition. Sometimes one morning we were in New York City with students, and one of his former students, a grown woman at this point, she was walking around with her plate, and she said, there are no other seats. Do you mind if I join your table? We said, oh, of course. She sat down. The students didn't know she was a judge. Well, a couple of the students were engaging with her the whole time. Child next to me had those pancakes, and he was going in on those pancakes hard because he was going to get a good meal before the competition. He didn't engage with her at all. He was eliminated. So are you always this, or are you just doing it when you think you're being judged? We want this to be something that they carry with them throughout life, and that they're always engaging. And this, when I say engaging too, it's very important. These are not just extroverted students. As a matter of fact, this year, because of the depth and the insight required, some of our more thoughtful, maybe slower to speak, but really when they say something, it's of great value. Some of those kids are really going to rise to the top, I think, because of the kinds of questions we have.
Yeah, and many times in the past, we've had shy introvert students win the whole thing, because those types of kids, they may not be loud and big, but they're insightful, and they'll take a moment and they'll pause. Caitlin Brittlin Wheeler, who won one year, judges would ask her questions, and she would say, may I have 1 second to think about that? And then she would answer, and they were scoring her 20s across the board because they loved that she just took a moment. She was always like within herself and never out here. That's what's great about the Amazing Shake. You got to be yourself. You can't be fake. Now, if you are extroverted, go for it. It might work for you. But if you're not, you can still do well. Did you tell them about the trash we put on the...
I did not.
So last week, we put a piece of trash in our school, and each kid had to go through that way of the school using those stairs, and we filmed them to see which kids would actually pick up the trash. And the kids that picked up the piece of trash, they did the right thing. We actually gave them 20 bonus points today in the gauntlet.
And we were hoping it'd be every child, and it was not.
It was not every child.
But it was very obvious because the way they had to walk by it, and some of them were embarrassed because we showed little clips and that showed them look at it, even see it, and then walk by. Our school is a very beautiful place. We say we want to all take care of it. It's all of our responsibility. What are you doing when you still think no one's looking? That's the key there.
So I just noticed something interesting. So this competition at our school is for 5th through 8th graders, but we are allowing some 4th graders to participate this year. On Friday, they had just a little 4th grade Amazing Shake competition with just a handful of judges, and 6 of those kids, the ones who did well, they are actually performing in the gauntlet today, and the 4th graders just started.
They just started.
So I'm excited for them to see how they do. Oh, the cutest thing, if you think you're going to go to New York City, you bring a luggage to RCA, because we go right from the event to the airport. You won't have time to go home or have your mom bring you something. So I asked the 4th graders, how many of you are going to bring luggage? The whole class.
Very confident.
Very confident. But I was like, but y'all know only 10 in the school. They said, oh, we're going to do so well but only 6 of them have moved through to today. I wonder how many of those 6 brought luggage today.
Well, it is interesting because we always tell them, bring luggage because we really do go straight. We don't want you to walk in with a huge chest full of stuff. Bring a backpack. Bring some toothpaste, change a undergarments, that kind of thing.
Oh no, they brought luggage.
And some of them bring full-on luggage, but then it is always kind of hard because then at the end of the day, they got to go get in the car with their luggage.
Who wants to go to carpool today with your luggage? Everyone knows, oh, they thought they were going to New York City.
There have been a few years, though, where we had children who did not bring any luggage. They didn't think they'd go through. They did, and we called the parent, can you meet us at the airport with a backpack quickly, that kind of thing.
Oftentimes, they don't have time.
We've had to get stuff in New York City.
We just go to Walgreens in New York, get them a toothbrush and toothpaste and say, push through.
Yep, push through. So, and when they go to New York, it's very, very intensive too, because sometimes they're up all night long. For example, last year they had to go to Bath and Body Works. They found out the night before they had to come up with an idea, a concept for a brand new product that they should carry in Bath and Body Works. They had to make a pitch deck. They had to do research on why that would be needed. They had to be able to persuade why. They had to go into the executives in New York City of Bath and Body Works, the entire company, and sit there and pitch their ideas for new products to them. They found out at 9 o'clock at night after a Broadway show, and then they had through the night to prepare to walk in the next morning. So this is real world stuff. It's really quite
I'm not
impressive.
doing that this time because what happened when they had to do that is that we get to the hotel, it's like 11 o'clock at night, and these kids will stay up all night.
Yeah.
They will stay up all night preparing their presentation. Then we pick them up in the morning at 7 a.m. and they're just so dead tired. So when we get to New York tonight, there's nothing to do but just go to bed and get a good night's rest.
That's good. That's good.
It's snowing in New York.
Well, I hope they have coats then. I hope they have coats. It'll be
I hope
beautiful.
they remember to pack a coat.
It'll be beautiful for them, though. I'm excited about that.
Yeah,
Very beautiful.
looking forward to it. It's
Well,
gonna be
Perk
great.
Brown, are you coming back?
All right, everybody, it's good to see y'all. Thanks, Kirk, the man with the plan. Oh, my glasses.
So that was Ron Clark, the entire birth of the Amazing Shake, all in this man's brain, and it has started off as something simple, and now, as you see, it has emerged to be something that not only is used here, but is used all throughout the country and different shakes, and even in different places in the world for those students who will be coming here in March for the Global Amazing Shake. So we shared all about Monopoly Day and all the background on that, and so how that is being
He's the brainchild, so he's the perfect one to do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the day we played Monopoly Day, as a side note, we realized many of our students had never played Monopoly.
I never played Monopoly. I mean, we played it all the time growing up.
Yes, and then now Monopoly is kind of like Uno is now. There are a lot of different rules.
We love Uno too. Yeah.
So we wanted to play by the official rules. Just so y'all know that putting the money in the pot for free parking, that's a made-up rule. It's not official Monopoly game rules.
Sometimes with your games, you got to have your house rules.
So yeah.
So that's a house rule that you put all the money in the pot and then you get it. I know that's not the official. Same thing with Uno. It's like people say you can't put a draw 4 on top of a draw 4.
They got all that.
But
Do you do stacks?
Hey, that's how you play. That's how you play.
You got to figure it out.
The point is, we got to play more games, right? Because
it is a beautiful bonding experience. The kids loved sitting there playing board games with us, and we realized not enough students play board games with, recommend you do that with your family. I'm a big board game player. We take our students on a trip each year. We're fortunate to go to Utah. We stay in this cabin, and the entire time we're playing board games. And they will say when they graduate, sometimes one of their most favorite memories is being just together playing board games. And so for you educators trying to think of what's a good thing to do with my kids, or for students, it's not a high cost thing, but a bonding activity. Those of you that use houses, we've had RCA game night, we've had Ultraismo game night. Everybody brought in their favorite board game. Parents too. We had parents over here playing cards, playing spades. We had other kids playing Uno. We had kids playing Monopoly. It's a beautiful way to build community and to do really well.
Just in the world of just everyone being on their phones, scrolling, it's a great time to just put the phones away and just spend time, quality time with each other, bonding.
Right, don't let the phone be out beside the game board. Yes. So it was cute because we were playing with Truist Bank executives, and so the key to Monopoly, if you're trying to win, is you always buy the property. You always buy the property, because when people land on you, that's how you continue to get, you build equity in your home, and you're able to build wealth. So that's the key.
Yeah, so if you're just joining us again, you are watching the 2026 RCA Amazing Shake, a professional skills workforce readiness competition that we put our students through. And this morning they are going through the Monopoly themed gauntlet, and they're going station to station as if they were playing Monopoly, answering a question that is related to that specific space on the board. And so again, I just want to give a shout out to our sponsors. who made this amazing shake possible this year. So if we can get that graphic up of all our sponsors this year who are supporting the competition. So shout out to Truist for being our presenting sponsor this year. Delta Community Credit Union being an amazing sponsor year after year. Austin Bird as well. And Sonny's Barbecue, who continues to host us for the last round of the Amazing Shake. So if y'all can make some noise in the comments, throw some hearts, some fire to shout out our sponsors, because they truly are the ones, Kim, who make this happen for us every year, because it does take a little bit of resources, and for companies to say workforce readiness is important to us.
Right.
And we see the value in preparing students today for opportunities tomorrow. We're going to get behind you in this. It says a lot, and so we appreciate them for backing us there as well.
Absolutely. And so imagine this. Imagine being a middle school student. First of all, our students here, the expression, I left the building. That means that they actually were in the top 30. That's an honor, even if you say, I got out of the building. I got to leave the building to go to the second round. The second round at Alston and Bird, imagine walking into a high-rise in Atlanta, beautiful facility, and it being filled with lawyers. And your job is to engage with as many of them as you possibly can and work the room. And you may want to go up to one and really have a delightful conversation. I may want to spend the whole time with you. But the scoring is very different in the workroom challenge, just like it would be in the real world in a workroom thing. You're trying to figure, if I'm networking, I want to meet as many people as possible. Maybe there is that one person I want to spend the most time with, but how do I meet as many people as possible? So the students, they are supposed to meet as many people as they can while other students are doing it as well. So once again, do I engage you or do I cut you out of the conversation? That's going to score low. But how do I do it where I bring you in, but I still am able to stand out? And if a student engages with 14 executives and gets scores, even if they're 10s out of a 20, they're going to do better than the child who only talks to 3 executives and gets 60 points, you're getting a perfect score. So it's a totally different strategy in that round than it is here, because the real world, you have to use different strategies at different times.
And sometimes a lot of kids get tripped up in that round. Kids who would absolutely kill it throughout the whole competition, but they spend all of their time with a small number of people, and so they end up not getting enough scores. The kids who typically do well there, as Kim mentioned, they get around to as many people, maybe not scoring as high, but they are still getting enough to get them moved on to the next round. So it's a little bit of strategy there.
And how is it when you walk up and engage with this person? Is it a meaningful conversation where you don't seem, like rushed and like frantic? But also, how do you end the conversation gracefully? And then walk away so that it doesn't feel like you cut it too short because you're trying to get to the next score. It is actually a very delicate balance. It's hard.
And I don't know about you, Kim, but there are some times where I don't know how to exit a conversation. That is a hard thing to do when you are like, okay, I really got to move on to the next thing. I've got to go, if somebody's calling you, that's one thing. Oh, I got to take this call. You have a bye or an out there. But if you're just having a conversation with someone and you want to end the conversation, how do y'all end the conversation?
Especially if they don't want to end it.
If they don't want to end it, they keep going and going. How do you exit a conversation? Oh, like do you cut them off? Do you wait for a pause? It is so strange sometimes. So imagine you're a middle school kid and a lawyer is talking to you. How do you end that conversation so you can get around to even more folks? It's a bit of a challenge.
It is a huge challenge. And then we always have different surprise rounds. They've done many different things around the city with different sponsors throughout the years. We can't tell you what those are going to be because those are going to be surprises as they unfold throughout the day.
I'm so excited though.
And then the last round, then we've told you that the top 10 will go to New York City for more surprises. But let's go back to our sponsor, Sonny's Barbecue. Explain how the final round, and we do the same thing every year on the final round, so the students do know what's going to happen. Some of them are probably already strategizing about their teams, but Sonny's Barbecue graciously gives up their restaurant and they all go in to help. Explain how Thursday night goes down.
So Thursday night goes down. So once we know on Thursday morning who those top 2 students are, they'll come back to Atlanta and they will select their team of students, their peers here at RCA. And so finalist A will pick a student of 8, a team of 8 kids, and then finalist B will pick another group of 8 students, and they will then be whisked away up to Sonny's Barbecue, and then they begin to train on how exactly they will run or manage this restaurant for their particular shift.
They don't do the cooking, but they do the prep work and prepping plates and stuff.
Yeah.
They just don't cook. That's the only thing they don't.
So they get trained on it. Yeah, they're not cooking, but they're prepping. They're learning how to bust the tables. They're learning how to check people in. They're learning
Keep the bathrooms clean.
Keep the bathrooms clean. How to greet folks, do table touches, handle conflicts or resolve issues. And so they're learning all of that in their training, all as a collective group. And then the first group will be from 5 to 7. They will walk into the restaurant while the other group is in a waiting area. So they'll manage the restaurant from 5 to 7. And then once 7 o'clock hits, the whole group exit the restaurant as the new group comes in and they begin their shift. And so the finalists, they are the managers on duty. They're managing their team of students to see how well they manage the restaurant, how well they keep it clean, how, as I mentioned, how they handle those conflicts. And so that is how we determine who the winners are of the RCA Amazing Shake. And there's a whole set of criteria based on the cleanliness, the manager's vote,
the staff
vote
at Sonny's
as well. So
how will they manage the team?
So and there are some changes this year, which we'll explain later to the parents as well. But there's some things that are gonna be a little bit different this year. This year.
And our families come out in full force to support these candidates that are, these finalists that are in this, and the students that are running the restaurant. One thing that we're so gracious at Sonny's, in addition to opening up the restaurant, they always give a portion of the proceeds from the evening to the Roncock Academy.
Yes.
They're just really great partners of ours. But I love seeing that when they pick the teams, there's a strategy. Some finalists, some years will say, "Oh, I'm going to go for." They can be any kids in the building.
Yeah.
So some will say, "I'm going to get a couple of really cute 4th graders," or "No, I'm going to get all 8th graders to help me because they're going to run that restaurant like clockwork." There's usually a very specific strategy, and it's really fun to see how that works. The students who get picked are always very excited to be picked.
Super excited.
And that's always a huge honor for them, so we love that. And so just seeing how they choose the teams, it's always great. And I have this philosophy. So I have raised 4 children.
Yeah.
I think everybody should have to work in food service at least once in your life. I made all 4 of my children do it. My daughter waited tables starting at 15. Like, she waited tables for years because I feel like, number one, you realize the value of service workers.
Yes.
And number 2, how to treat them, how hard they work, and how hard it is. And I just feel like it teaches you a lot also about customer service, how to interact with people. So I think it's a valuable lesson even in that way. So a lot of the students, they just love. Imagine they get their little Sunny shirt.
Their shirt, their hat, their visor. It's great.
It's great.
Yeah, no, I think definitely a first job where you are serving others, customer service, it teaches you so much. My first job was, I was a bagger at Publix.
Were you?
Yeah, so I worked in food retail. It was awesome, and you build those skills of how do you resolve conflicts. People, they're like, I don't want plastic bag, I want paper. Like, oh, we don't have paper. Or, they want you to walk them out to their car and they may have an issue. How do you handle that? So you learn so many skills as a teenager working where you're serving others and just in a customer service arena. So yeah, that was my first job.
Well, I have waited tables, but my very first job, it was Revco Drugs. It was like a CVS.
Yeah.
I worked there, but this was back, I'm old. This was back when you actually had credit cards, like you'd put on the little thing and you had to go like this for the credit card and you had to key it in. And now how everything's electronic? As a side note, every time somebody gave a credit card, you had to have this book that came out every week and you had to look up the numbers. And if the numbers were in the book, you had to make sure the numbers weren't. If the numbers were in the book, they couldn't, you had to physically keep their credit card.
What in the world?
Because, now they'll just cut, your credit card will be declined.
Yeah.
But then you'd have to say, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, and here I am like 15 telling someone, I'm so sorry, I'm going to have to keep your credit card.
I can imagine.
This really did happen. I kid you not.
Oh,
but
wow.
So times have changed. That's the good side of electronics and technology. So there we go. So I did learn a lot about people who can be upset doing that job.
Issues there. So again, we are so grateful that you all have tuned in for the RCA Amazing Shake. This is just the first part of the morning. We're going to announce the winners a little bit later, but we're going to go off the live here, and then we'll come back and just kind of walk you around a little bit just so you can kind of see a little bit more up close and personal what's happening on the floor. And then we'll be back after that for sort of a third live where we announce who the top 30 students are who are going to be moving on. So
stay tuned. We're going to come back from the floor in just a few.
We'll be right back.